classified. The next chapter is about chapter 28. This is analytic procedures. And I am sharing with my experience with you people that this is very important. And you should be knowing that where to apply extensive substantive procedures, where to apply analytic procedures. So analytic procedures we apply on 3 stages. Planning stage to assess the risk and to understand the business entity and its environment. And at the level of extensive analytic review, we should be knowing that it should be applied when useful audit evidence can be derived from the extensive AR. If we feel that we can, like Abbas has given the example that by just multiplying the number of months with the amount, you can come out with the figure. You are not supposed to carry out detailed review. So this is your decision where to apply this. And results of extensive analytic review may indicate that nature and extent of detailed testing may be reduced or not. After applying this, you take the decision whether you need further you need to apply further work on it, or you are satisfied with the analytic procedures. And the analytic procedure at the final level. Actually, this is about adequacy of evidence you have gathered during the review with the unexpected in response to your unusual or unexpected balances identified during the year, during planning. Suppose you have identified something during planning that these areas are unexpected, unusual or unexpected balances, and when you apply your audit procedures, so this is about whether your procedures corroborate this thing or not. And if you come up with certain other unusual things, then you need to enhance your work, enhance your substantive testing. So this and a template has been given. So it's I will not give much time on it. That this is about this simple, but sometimes we have noted that what people have done or what firm have done, that they have just compared the current year figure with the last year figure, and they have just shown the percentage, but there is no explanation of that percentage or what work they have carried out to address that unusual fluctuation. The next chapter is about summary review memorandum for partners. Actually, this is a very important format or form, I would say, that whenever an audit senior or audit manager concludes audit, so he should be noting down all the significant observations in that summary review memorandum for partner. This may include major accounting and auditing issues. If there is change in accounting policy, then what is the financial impact? And if there are major acquisitions, disposals, or if there are significant provisions. And this is an example, these examples have been given in the audit practice manual. An acquisition of long-term loans, leases, and major contingencies, litigations. So this will help partner to focus his attention on these things, not meaning thereby that he should not be looking at other working papers, but his main focus on these important things, significant things. Then we will move to chapter 30. Chapter 30 is about significant matters documentation. This section deals with auditor's responsibility to communicate deficiencies in internal control identified in an audit financial statements. As Abbas Sahab has explained in detail that when he is reviewing the internal control with regard to financial statements, so he should be communicating the significant deficiencies to those charged with governance. So in that, a format has been given where it is mentioned that what he is supposed to do, that description of the matter, in that description, a brief description of the issue or problem statement of not more than 1 or 2 sentences, just for your guidance that these are the issues. Background facts and circumstances you are supposed to give, and what evidence were obtained with regard to this, and technical references and analysis including implications of the matter, and the record of discussion which you had with management and those charged with governance, and the final conclusions. So this is about the communication of significant deficiencies in internal control. Then we move to chapter 31, points for the next year. Actually, this is, I was just discussing with Najam Saab that you were mentioning that the word cake, communication, the cumulative audit knowledge and experience. Actually, whenever you carry out audit, you learn from your audit, and then you want to highlight something so that when next year auditors come, they should, apart from other things, they should pay special attention to those areas or those areas. Suppose if there were disclosure requirement, appropriate disclosure requirement, then you should consider it. And then whatever experience you have learned from your audit, you should be telling the next year auditors what are the critical areas where you should pay special attention. Suppose if when you go for audit, you receive financial statement late, so you should be asking suggesting your next year auditor that financial statements you should pursue for the financial statement as soon as possible or as early as possible. So this is just these are just examples. You can customize or you can change according to your facts and circumstances and the audit which you have carried out. And then we come to chapter 32. This is evaluate team performance, assess client satisfaction and team debriefing. Personally, this chapter, I think it should not be there. Tomorrow we are going to discuss it in detail, this chapter also. But I am just telling you what is this chapter is about. This is about post-mortem, whatever you have done. And like I can read it out, that we should review annually our relationship with those charged with governance or the audit committee, covering our and their performance, review the summary audit strategy, and obtain feedback from the audit committee or those charged with governance about the following: the service delivery, conduct of the engagement, nature of recommendation made, and suggestion for the next year. This is not a part of audit working paper. This is just it's a post-mortem of whatever you have done during audit. Then 33rd chapter is about audit completion checklist. And in that chapter,
थैंक यू। मेरा सिर्फ एक कंफ्यूजन दूर करें। आपने जब चैप्टर 31 की बात की, पॉइंट्स फॉर द नेक्स्ट ईयर, और उसके बाद ये एवेल्युएट टीम परफॉर्मेंस की, मुझे ऐसा महसूस हुआ कि जो आप केक की बात कर रहे हैं, क्यूमुलेटिव ऑडिट नॉलेज एंड एक्सपीरियंस, और ये जो टीम डीब्रीफिंग है,
जी बिल्कुल,
ये एक ही चीज है।
जी बिल्कुल,
बस ठीक।
इत्तेफाक से यही वर्ड नजम साहब से डिस्कस हो रहा था, उन्होंने यही वर्ड यूज किया था, डीब्रीफिंग। Now we come to chapter 33, audit completion checklist. Actually, अल्ताफ साहब, जो आप कह रहे थे ना कि 3 चैप्टर्स हमने जो को ख़त्म किया है, ख़त्म नहीं किया, इनफैक्ट उनके नंबरिंग उनको मर्ज किया है इस चैप्टर में। तो 3 चैप्टर थे, 34, 35 एंड 36। टीम मैनेजर एंड एंगेजमेंट पार्टनर साइन ऑफ, QRP रिव्यूअर साइन ऑफ, QRP sign off, and the consideration and procedures. So these 3 chapters are part of this audit completion checklist. Now they are no more 34, 35 and 36. ठीक है जी। अच्छा जी, इसमें बेसिकली ऑडिट कंप्लीशन चेकलिस्ट में इसमें 3 चीज़ें कवर किया